Good afternoon. Welcome to Main Street Fire Rescue. Welcome back to the channel. It's Matt, and as you can see, I'm back here at home again. Actually, I just got home from work, and I want to do another vlog from home. One, to give you an update to the channel, and two, I got to get something off my chest about all the gaslighting and BS that they're telling us about this freaking economy. But before I get started, I want you to check this out. I got one of my new shirts. This is fun to wear at Disney World, let me tell you. It's great to watch the reactions of people, because let's just be honest. You know, I don't talk about it much, but there really ain't a whole lot of us conservatives walking around Disney World. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, first off, channel update. I am slowly learning how to do this production thing by using the different software, and I decided, you know what, let me teach myself how to do more of a podcast style from the days that I'm home, you know, when I'm not in the park, or when I'm in the park and I want to add something into the screen so I don't have to keep doing this all the time. You know, let's try to zoom in on the phone screen, make it a little more professional, have the actual picture, dialogue, or whatever it is I'm trying to show on this side and have me over here, or, you know, even do a live video on this side and me on this side, like trying to figure all this out. And I'm learning, and what I found out is it's a software that I have to get through. I already have the basic software, but I need to add, it's called screen sharing or screen recording. So I taught myself how to do that. So in the next coming days, I'm going to be doing some tests. I'm not going to upload anything just yet, but I'm going to be working on it. And I've got some other vlogs that I've worked on, and I'm going to start putting those out while I'm working on this other thing. That way we can kind of have a seamless, you know, flow from one to the next, and we don't have 5 or 6 days without any content being uploaded. Because that's my biggest thing, is I want to get more consistent. I want to be like, here's a bunch of videos, and then a week goes by and then nothing, and then here's another one, but then another 2 weeks goes by and nothing, and it's not going to really gain much traction doing that. One thing I've learned, you got to be very consistent. So I'm learning, bear with me. And I will say this shit is hard. It's very hard. It's not easy by any means. Anybody that says it is either lying or got very lucky, or just knows how to hit that algorithm. You know, I've been, you know, hanging out for a while in the 400s, but when you look at everybody else that's got successful channels, it took them a while, and they hung out, you know, sometimes in these areas for quite a while. Like one guy I follow, and he said he was stuck at like 400 or 500 for like even a year, and then it just took off. So it just depends. But anyway, those of you that have subscribed to the channel, thank you very much for all your support. Promise to bring you a lot more. And again, we're going to start doing things. This is, I'm going to call it maybe like the outside the turnstiles discussions, or things that where we're not in the theme park, because it is still spring break. And I want to bring more of a podcast style as well on the days I'm not out at the parks. So what I wanted to talk about today is, well, the employment numbers came out, and man, what a bunch of bullshit that was today. You know, they claim that it's never been better, and 300,000 jobs were added, you know, over the last quarter, and just everything is fantastic. But because of that, now they're not going to touch interest rates, because apparently if the jobs would have fallen, then they would have lowered interest rates. I'm telling you, watch this interest rate shit very carefully. A lot of people don't realize, or maybe they do, but this interest rate thing, they are in a corner bigger than life. Because they left money so freaking cheap for so long, that we don't have the ability to lower interest rates right now, or even in the future. If and when the economy starts sliding, they can't drop interest rates, because every time they do, inflation gets even higher. And I don't know about you all, but do you feel like we are about ready to see inflation explode again? You notice how it went up, and then they did some things and it came down, but it kind of just been hovering right there, and now you just feel like it's ready to take off like a rocket ship once again, because all of the BS policies that they put out are coming to an end. You know, we depleted our strategic oil reserve, so, and apparently they're not going to fill that up because oil is too expensive now, which, by the way, went over $91 a barrel today. Outstanding. Which means we're going to be at $4 gas before too long. Gold, check out gold, man. Gold rocketed past 2,300 today. Never been that high ever. Two things to always watch: gold and oil. They're always in sync with each other. Higher oil goes, higher gold goes. It's getting scary. It really is, because when you throw the statistics in there of, you know, most of the country, almost 70% living paycheck to paycheck and don't have an extra $400 or even $1,000 left. And then you have 50% of people that are making over 100 grand living paycheck to paycheck. You got $740 average car payments for new, $560 for used. Average rent or mortgage is like $2,800 to $3 grand. Average house now is almost $400,000. Average income needed to support all this is almost $128,000. Average real income is $58,000 to $78,000. Does this all start to not make a whole lot of sense? Oh, let's throw the other one in there. Credit card debt, $1.2 trillion outstanding, which is like 7 or 8 grand a piece if everybody owned an equal share of that. I don't use credit cards, so I'm not a part of that. But I tell you what, when you don't use credit cards that often, it's very hard to grow your credit score. But even that's kind of a scam, but we'll talk about that later. But you just see all of this, you know, amongst all of this, and then the job layoffs. Was it today? Interestingly enough, last night before this jobs report, the 99-cent only stores, which I'm guessing are out in the California area or maybe out west, closing every store. Everybody's gonna get laid off. So I don't know how many thousands of layoffs that's gonna be. And then you look at all the other like big tech, you know, Google, Facebook, all of them are laying people off like crazy. The office buildings, what they say, Gerald Celente said the other night, 20-25% vacancy rates. So now these owners of these office buildings can't pay their rent or mortgage because they're not getting any income. So now you've got banks defaulting on you got people defaulting on those building loans. And yet everything's fine. I will say this though, Ben Shapiro was very much accurate 3 or 4 years ago when he said, right before this administration took place, he goes, "Get ready to be gaslit into submission." And I feel like that's what's going on. They're sitting there going, look how, and people, even in comments on things, oh, it's never been better. And I'm like, where are people getting this money? I mean, I was out at Disney yesterday walking around just to get some fresh air. And I mean, you couldn't move. It was so crowded. And this is at a time where everything is at peak expense right now. And then on Facebook, that's one of the other things we'll do is we'll do a Disney Facebook podcast and show all the ridiculousness that people post in some of these Disney Facebook groups. But you know, people just openly bragging about how they've dropped $5, $6, $10, $15, $20,000 like it's nothing. And then everybody else is like, oh yeah, that's perfectly normal. I spent that too. And I'm like, what? Where are you getting that money? And then back to the whole job thing. Early this week, I lost one of my jobs. I worked part-time. You might have heard me talk about it. I worked as basically an anesthesia tech for oral surgery. One of my favorite jobs outside of firefighting that I think I've ever had. You know, outside of firefighting and being a paramedic, this anesthesia tech thing, they were using a couple of us as our paramedic license so we could assist the doctor with oral surgeries and anesthesia. It was a fantastic job. It paid very well. I loved working there. I loved everybody I worked with. The doctor was freaking awesome to work with. Super nice guy, super chilled, laid back, just a great overall environment. And I got the call the other day that they had to cut most of the staff because nobody's coming in anymore. And like right after middle of February, man, we were doing good. Like for all the time I'd been there, we'd been hanging around doing 17, 20 plus surgeries a day. And all of a sudden that dropped down to 0, 2, 4, 5, and that's not enough, man. It's not enough to sustain all the people that were working there. So a lot of us had to go, and that was very painful. But you know, when you run a business like that and you're the owner and the doctor now, you got to do what you got to do. You got to make hard decisions. So I don't fault them for that. I just miss everybody because I really liked working there. And hopefully in time we'll get to come back, but you know how long it's going to be. But I feel like as much as I want to be positive on everything, I feel like this whole economic thing, this thing's about to just blow up because it feels like I said earlier, it feels like it went up and then it went down and it hung out here and now it's getting ready to shoot straight up. And what's going to be scary is all these people that are spending money like they're in Congress, as Dave Ramsey says. Everybody's going to get blindsided by this thing. They're not going to know what hit them. And that's usually how it works. You know, if you go read history, I know people don't like doing that much anymore, but if you read through history and read about the events right before the Great Depression, we are almost repeating that verbatim. Everything got ultra expensive. The wealth gap widened insanely. And then they kept saying, everything's fine, couldn't be better. Well, one day to the next, the stock market crashed and everything went down with it. And the next, decade, it was incredibly difficult. But that also helped bring things back down to reality, which is what I feel like we really need. We really need to get things back to reality. You can't have a successful country and then where people the average income is $58,000 to $78,000, and then you got $400,000 homes. Like that doesn't work. You can't be spending 50% of your income on housing. That doesn't work. Like at some point, all the money's going to run out. Even these people that are just recklessly spending on credit right now and buy now pay later, and you can see it happening. I see it all the time through these Facebook groups. People are like, oh, I feel like spending an extra day at Disney World, but it's going to be an extra $700. And everybody's like, just do it. That's what credit's for. That's what buy now, pay later is for. Just do it. And they're all the same thing. Just do it. What are you worried about? You know, on top of this 5, 6, 10, 15,000 they're already spending. You know, so it's just insane, reckless spending. And then on top of that, there's an article that hit today. So here we are, all this debt, everybody living paycheck to paycheck, and then you get things like this, travel and tourism to break records and bring in over $11 trillion in 2024. Like, what? WTF, man? What? Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Where is this coming from? I can tell you where it's coming from. Go on a cruise line. Go on a Royal Caribbean's website right now and book out a cruise. 1, it's going to be astronomically expensive. 2, it's going to be hard to find it because most of them are booked for the year. And 3, buy now, pay later. There it is right there. Tonight, I wanted to go see REO Speedwagon at Hard Rock at Universal Studios. $96, $97 a piece for tickets. With a $35 service and fulfillment fee. That's what I said to that. You can shove that up your ass. As much as I love REO Speedwagon, hell no. I'm not going to give a company almost $40 in some kind of fulfillment fees for you to send an electronic ticket to my phone. You're out of your mind. And, you know, and almost $100. So basically, it was almost $200 for what's going to be about a 3.5, 4 hour show. Is REO Speedwagon good? Absolutely. I've seen them about 6 times, about 7 times already. Not for that kind of money, though. Absolutely not. I'm not doing it. But there are a lot of people that do. And what's crazy is when I was pulling up these tickets to see how much it'd be, there it was on the little bottom. Klarna Afterpay or Affirm. Break this up into 8 monthly payments of $25 each or whatever it was. And I'm like, at some point, even the people that are doing this, you're not going to be able to borrow yourself into leisure and activities for forever. Like, at some point, this shit's going to have to be paid back. And that's why I just feel like where everything's just all topsy-turvy. Because you got this jobs report saying one thing, that everything's perfect. You've got stores that are closing, people getting laid off left and right. When medical personnel start losing jobs, people need to start paying attention. You got oil and gold skyrocketing, and all these people in these Facebook groups, oh, we're driving to Orlando this summer. I'm telling you, man, fuel hits $4, $5, $6 a gallon. People ain't gonna be doing any driving. And I don't mean to say that to be mean. It's just the reality of it. I remember 2008. I was brand new into the working world when that happened. You know, within a couple years. I had just gotten hired on as a full-time firefighter medic, and people quit paying their property taxes because of the insane cost of fuel and everything. Nobody could afford anything. Everybody went broke because they overspent, just like they're doing now. And I remember the chief coming in saying, fellas, I don't want to have to do this, but we may have to look at laying people off if we don't find a solution in the next couple months. City was losing money. Thank God they had a slush fund that they could pull from. Nobody lost their job, but it got damn close. And in other fire departments, they did lay people off. So when people like that start losing jobs, everybody needs to pay attention. Because I'm telling you, I feel like this is one of those things where they're trying to just lull people to sleep, saying, don't worry about it, it's fine, it's never been better. And then it's just like in '08. You're going to go to bed one night, and you're going to wake up the next morning, the stock market has crashed, and everything else has gone with it. Because I'm telling you, all of this bad debt that's tied together, the car loans, cars are getting repossessed by the thousands every day. In fact, you can check out a channel, his name's Lucky Lopez, and another one is called Car Questions Answered. Both of them are car guys that owned car dealerships, and they're talking about how they can't go get these cars fast enough where people are 90 days plus behind. And it's all of these insane payments. Like the one guy went through a repo lot. Half the lot was Challengers and Hellcats. Everybody got flushed with cash, and then they got the bad financial decision bug injected into them because this could happen again, so I have to live for now. To hell with my finances, to hell with anything, any responsibility. Let's go out and get me $1,000 a month car payment because that's going to work. And here we are. So, and also I'm going to add this in before I wrap this up. I've said this before. All of you full-time YouTubers, and I'm talking to all of you here in this Florida area that are going to Disney and doing this shit through the theme parks and that, take some time and get yourself a freaking skill, because I'm telling you, all these Patreon members, everybody that donates to your channels and all that, if this thing blows up big, you're going to lose a lot of that income because people are going to have to start making hard decisions, just like they did in '08 and in any other financial crisis. This ain't going to be no soft landing. I'm sorry, not going to happen. This thing's going to hit hard. There's just way too many factors going on, and they're all like, just don't pay attention to everything. Everything's fine. It ain't fine. This is like, you're looking out this window and seeing the sunshine, and right behind you there's a freaking tornado coming right at you. Like, turn around and look that way, But they're saying, no, don't look that way. Look straight out in front of you. That's just how I feel like things are going. And eventually you're not going to be able to ignore it anymore because it's going to be right over the top of you. And people are going to be like, where the hell did this come from? Well, it's been coming all along. Didn't you see it? No. So you YouTubers out there that are doing this as a full-time profession, utilize your extra time, although it may be small, but utilize that time. God's given you a gift to do this for a living. Use that time to get yourself a skill and get yourself skilled up, because I'm telling you, people stop donating to your channel and everything starts dropping off. All of a sudden you can't support that lifestyle anymore, and now you go to get a job. Oh, I haven't worked in 5-6 years because I've been doing YouTube. I mean, that's not going to look good for an employer. Oh, by the way, I don't have any skills either, which a lot of them just outright say. I don't have skills, and if it wasn't for this, I'd never be able to make this kind of money. From somebody that's trained and knows how to save a human life, it sometimes pisses me off. Because I have a lot of skills, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I'm just talking like I'm being real with everybody. I know how to save somebody's life if it were to come down to it. And yet, somebody can talk to a camera is exactly what I'm doing now and make more money than I'm making. It just, it is very frustrating. And hey, it's not their fault. They chose this. They chose to do this, and they're being rewarded for their hard work. I'm not saying they're not working hard, but it's just when you go talent for talent, one is definitely takes a whole lot more than the other one does. Yes, does this take time? 100% it does. It's a work in progress. But the other one, when you literally develop the skills to save somebody's life if you needed to, or to reverse a medical problem, or to help them feel better through giving the correct medications and everything, to me, that should, even doctors should be paid way higher than they are, paramedics should be paid higher than they are, nurses, everybody should be paid way much more than they are. And I've got that vlog on the list of things to do. What is a medic and what do we do? Because I don't think a lot of people realize what we do. And unfortunately, most medics across the country are vastly underpaid, and we're losing them like crazy, which isn't good. Because those are the people that you depend on if you have an emergency outside of somewhere. Those are the people coming to get you, to help you out. So anyway, I hope you got something out of this. I had to sit down and chat about this because I was driving home, and that popped up on my news feed about the jobs report. And I'm just like, you've got to be freaking kidding me, man. Where are these people getting these numbers? But just like we saw during everything else, It's easy to make everything what it, you know. It's easy to deceive people. Tell them that it's not really what you're looking at. So I will see you all again very shortly. Be back to the parks again at some point once all this madness settles down. And yeah, we'll see you shortly. Have a good one, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend too. Main Street Fire Rescue out of service. I'll see ya.